Welcome to Hampshire 1900 start for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. We're picking up on the 9th of March 1917, which is roughly 4 months on from the end of the last video. Now, in this part, what I want to do is shift the focus towards Warstock over on the right-hand side of the map, because that's going to be our kind of key development area going forward. I think we've kind of finished with Eastleigh for the short term, because what we really need to do now is finish off this road system here and see if we can get a bit more stability in this area. We've got a little bit of unemployment, but there's nothing we can do. What I do need to do is work a little bit on vehicles so that we can get some more kind of workers out here, because at the moment the workforce is a little bit erratic. The one last kind of major building project is getting some concrete production here as well. So that's our long-term goal. Now before we get started, I just want to mention one thing. That is the fact is that on the 10th of July, the devs released the 1.1.012 update into the stable branch on Steam. So that means that the test branch and the stable branch are now in sync. Now, this is a relatively small update. It contains a number of fixes to do, bug fixes and things like that. Probably the kind of big things which we've already been using in this game is that what it has added is brick-built switches, and there's a promise that we will get brick-built sewers coming. And of course, more importantly now, you've got the small incinerators. So if you're playing with the early start DLC, that you will now have access to this small incinerators, which is what we are using up over here. So that is another advantage. The other thing you also notice is that we're getting lots of Novu fire engine. That is going to be very, very useful. We might be upgrading our fire stations to get better fire coverage over time. So that is our current situation. So the update's been released. So now, before we go over to Warstock, as I say, there's one thing that I do want to do here, and this is a little bit of future proofing, in the sense that what I want to do is just see where the pipeline is. Because what I want to do here, if we come to sewage treatment, no, I don't want that one, I want this one. We could get that in just there. I think if we can, oh, that actually went green. Although maybe, oh, that's actually green as well, so right, we're going to drop you in there, over here, and hopefully we will get a connection from there to there. Now, I'm not going to build this at the moment. This is, as I say, this is just kind of laying in a connection there, so we can clean the area up. Well, that actually went underneath that one there. That's pretty cool. Now, I am going to suspend these. Although, well, maybe we'll leave that one. If it gets auto-detected, it'd be fair enough. And then what we'll do is just sneak in a little connection there. Again, I'm just going to suspend this so that we've got that. So as I say, that was more just laying in there. So the rest of what's going on here is okay. Maybe I should do the groundworks for this. Yeah, I think maybe, I don't think these guys have got a lot to do beyond what they've got. So but of course over here we've got a lot of work to do. One problem I have got already is this. Partly because I've just queued up way too many jobs. So we're gonna, and this is one of the reasons why the focus on this part is going to be trying to get a construction industry up and running. Now, just to give you a bit of another update, is while I was actually playing forward, it occurred to me that this is going to be quite an important rail line. So I've kind of doubled it up a little bit here. Take you out. Because we will need to make this twin tracks in order to get that. Plus, I've already realised that I've built these roads over the bridges. So what I've done is I've planned this. Don't need that. Turn that off. Just make sure these are future proofing. I wanted to put them in so I actually knew. So we got a bridge here, and more importantly another one over here. So the trend going forward now is we've got to get road bridges over the rail bridges. Now another little problem I've got is under here is I've got this connection wasn't made, which is a real pain in the neck. One tip I will get is if you get a broken connection here, always make sure this is one single job. Whatever you do, don't break it in half, because what the game will do is deconstruct that and then leave a little bit here which you will no longer be able to get to, and then that kind of messes up here, especially in realism mode. It's a real pain in the neck. So we've got that needs to be built. Now so what I want to do next is we're going to do a little bit of planning here, because one thing I do need to get, how much is it going to cost me to buy some covered holes? Capacity. I need to get these in because it's going to cost 8,000. 2, 3. I can get 3 of those at the moment. We may have to borrow some money to get that going. Actually, what I'm going to do is just show you some of the new vehicles that arrived now, in the sense that if we come in here, there's been quite a lot. Obviously 1917 is a show, or if I do research by start production, okay, split the other way. What you see here is I've got a whole load of ammos have come in. They're all arrived at this point now, and you can see they've actually got an improved speed, but what they don't have is enhanced carry capacity. So the only really positive one here is the fact that we've now got access to this ammo F15 snowplow, which means that we will get a ploughing speed of 35 kilometers an hour, which is there. So the two useful vehicles out here, when I mean useful, I'm using it in the general sense, is the fire truck. We'll certainly be upgrading the fire trucks over time, because these have got a top speed of 50 kilometers an hour plus a speed level of 12. And if I flip you to fire trucks, you'll see that the one before was 9, this is now 15, and this is 43, this is 50. Doesn't mean I'm going to go wholesale out and replace all the fire trucks, but it means that what I want to do here, okay, we've also now got an ammo ambulance. Again, and this is a nice to have, but not necessarily something we are going to do. Now, the other thing I'm just going to do is just check the NATO vehicles. So we're going to come over here, take a quick shifters at again, we'll just filter. So we got a concrete mixer here. Again, it's got 35 kilometers. So these aren't going to win any awards. You can see we've got a whole series of well, so these are Model Ts, 1917, 19. We've got a tractor here that's turned up as well. But it's still slower than the Burrell. And again, we've got other ones now that have turned up. But the problem is the restricted carry capacity. Anyway, so let's just get over to here. Now, the first thing I want to work on is that we're getting the beginnings of our food and alcohol production. The next thing I want to do is move to some meat production, so that we're going to have all the basics supplied. Also, the fact that as we expand the town out to support the construction industry, we're going to need it. We're going to go to factory. What we're going to do is put in a couple of these hunting huts here. We don't need fancy roads. We'll start with 2. Oh, the other thing also is this has been annoying me a bit. So I've gone up. I don't think we've got what the pollution is like. It keeps telling me that maximum pollution 100%, but it keeps flashing up notifications. So we're going to get a couple of hunting huts here. Now we are going to need a kind of another kind of distribution office out here. So get rid of you. Distribution office. This is going to be for distributing the alcohol and food to these. Also, maybe what's the building on here? This is needed to build electronics. Oh, this needs a lot to build. 8.4. Oh, it's too much. That's got 4 trucks. It's going to have 4 vehicles in it, 2 parking spaces. This is going to have this is going to have 6 vehicles in it. I mean, ideally, what I would like is 2 distribution offices here. If I can get 1 and 2 there, like that. I think these can. Oh, great. Aha. Okay. That's not going to work. Okay, so we can remove you, because this is the gut. Actually, if we can move you there, remove you there, I might be able to get the distribution office back in again. And what we're going to have here is 1 will be delivering, managing the goods. In fact, eventually one of these could actually take over from the shop supplies over here. Now, the other thing we're going to need is a warehouse to store the meat in. And this comes back to the growing kind of feeling that we're going to need to try and build some possibility of shipping meat, because although technically these need to be self-sufficient, so would I need to be able to ship meat? I think what we're going to do is, I want a little bit more storage for here. I think this can be a mud road. And actually, no, let me just change that. Cargo station. We'll put a cargo station about there. And then that's better. What this will mean is that we'll be able to pick up the meat and drop off the meat with this cargo station, which means there won't be any queuing as such. Another new vehicle here. We've got an MO15 flatbed semi. We will take a look at that. Now, I've got to be very careful with the jobs, because you can see we've got a little bit of a queue building up here. And so we need to manage this very, very carefully until we got this is another driver for the construction industry. What was it? Open hole. Yes, 36 kilometers an hour. This is 45, so this is, we got there. So Capacity and speed is a really big issue when you've got an early start. Getting everything going. Now, one thing I do want to consider is, do we have any over? Let me just look at the flat availability here. 3 flats. Right, we've only got space for 18 more people here. That's full. That's full. Ideally, I wouldn't mind a Jade apartment tucked in this corner here. Residential. I'm moving more towards using the Jade apartments. Yeah, I think. Let me just get you really tight in here. Get one more here. Yep, you're in range of. What I need is more workforce into here. Put you to there. So that will give us our expansion. I don't know what the current birth rate is. It's not brilliant. So we've now got this area here, which we can expand into. The reason I'm pushing the workforce here is you can see at the moment that we sewage tank overflow again. This is becoming a very persistent problem at the moment, but there's not much I can do about it until all this has been built through. Let me just see. Don't really want to do this, but I think we're going to have to do it. What I will do is push the priority on that, because if we can get this, let me just check here. Yeah, we've only got the one sewage truck here, so we're just gonna have to have people with bad health at the moment. There's not much I can do about it. Right, so now we're gonna start working on this area here. Now this area is going to be quite important, because unlike our other construction industry, this one's going to be more permanent. So we're going to need to consider rail connections. We're also going to need to consider building prefabs, bricks. We're going to need cement works here, because we've got access to bitumen from here. We've got access to coal from here, but we're not going to go all out and build a major kind of construction industry here. Well, we are going to build a major construction industry, but not from the get-go. So we're going to have to. So what we're going to have to do is build a kind of low-level one to begin with scope to actually expand. So what we're going to do is 98%. That would be really nice if I could get that. We've got. Well, I think I've finished with the main recovery here. So what I should be, what have we got here? We've got that GT, whatever it is. I think, well, what we're going to need to do though is bring out a fuel truck. Not a fuel truck, a free gas station. Okay, what I'm going to do is we're going to put you here. And we're going to put a free construction office out here as well. Remove you. Where's my fuel distribution? It's in here somewhere. We're going to need a gas station out here as well. Let's send fuel to there. And what we're going to do is we're going to leave this set up, but what I'm going to do is steal the bulldozers and bring them up here. Now, obviously, I'm going to have to hang around and do something, but we're on the 23rd of April. I'm still a little bit concerned. I think we're never going to make the money by the time this is ready. So what I'm going to do is take out a loan. Hate taking out loans, but I think we're going to take about, don't want 200,000. I think 120,000 over 2 years. And then what we're going to do is just buy all the cupboard holes I need for air capacity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, so we're going to buy all those cupboard holes and bring them in to here. Right, just going to go over and check underground here. All right, we've now got this kind of here, so hopefully this is right. I think I've got a solid connection there. This is going to have to be high priority. Get these guys working on it. The reason this needs to be high priority is that it's affecting the health of our people here. Yeah, we're going to put all of them on. Got pumping stations. Why are you? Well, we can build that. I don't want to build this. Suspend this. And we're going to substation suspended. That's suspended. That's suspended. For the moment, because of our health problems, we've got more fuel than we know what to do with at the moment. So that's going to be a problem. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut the video here. Simply because I can't do much until we've got the guys out here. So what I'm going to do is just going to cut the video here, and I'll be back once we're set up to build this, because I certainly want to build this in this part. I'll see you once I'm ready to do the next phase. Okay, welcome back. We've finally got our bulldozers up here, so we can now get back to actually building things. So the trouble now is I've got to find that. Where was it? Let's get this here. Oh, we got 94% there. What I'm looking to do, it's absolutely typical that will, so we can come off there. What I'm looking to do is build 3 actual gravel quarries. That's 53%. That's about 79%. If we could, what's the terrain like here? I think if we can come off a bit like that, that's 76% there. Be really nice if I could get in there's 60%, 100% there, but that's going to be pretty high up. No, it's too high. Actually, we could probably get 41%, 59%. How about over here? 77. Okay, we got 91% there. If we can get off of here at 89%. Okay, got 88% there. So we've now got 3. Come down, come into there. Don't want the roads to be too far up into here. This will now, we're going to put bring a road down from here to roughly about there. Now, long term, what I'm going to do is extend the town out this way, so that we're probably going to have to put another road up through here, because we might be able to get workforce out to here. Now, the next thing I want to do is, this is where we're going to do a little bit of future oops, now I'm going to put in something like that. Put you there. See where the terrain is. Horrible terrain. We're going to put in a small... Actually, this doesn't need a workforce, does it? Switch me brain on. It is a bit warm today, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to put in... I'll flip you that way. Yeah, we can actually do this. So what we're going to do is put you there. Yeah, that's a small aggregate store. Now this is where the future proofing comes in. Conveyors. I want to put in a small input conveyor here. Push you over this way a bit closer to the road. And what's going to happen? What the thinking is that eventually, when 1958 comes, because this is going to be a permanent kind of construction type industry thingy here. So when we get to 1958, I think this is 1958, isn't it? And we get modern industry. We can build some modern quarries up here that will have a direct conveyor connection, so then we can get rid of the trucks. And then what we'll do is we'll feed down to the small one here. Change to battery connection. And to that end, what I want to do is, whoops, travel. We need to choose a, it's not going to tell me, I don't think it will tell me, will it? See, this is 15 workers and it will produce 82 tons of gravel. I mean, it's not a massive amount, but I think I'm inclined to go for this one. This takes 144 tons. Will produce 99 tons of gravel. So what we're going to do is, actually, no, I want something that's got a few. Have I got anything that's got a few more connections to it? That's quite nice. This has got 30 workers though. Yeah, I think what we got an example of here is we've got this gravel processing. This is the old gravel processing. This is that would produce 27. That would produce 100 and I think we're going to go with that. This is actually a mod of the basic gravel processing that's available in the game, but it has the added factory conveyor connection. So if I can put you about there and see if we can get that conveyor connection. No, it's not gonna. Game is misleading me. Try again. I have to tilt you a little bit. That's okay because we're going to use the store Yeah, I think we're going to go with this one. Let's give us 110 tons of gravel, which is going to be a little bit over the top. We tilt you that way. That can go in there. Hit it again. That can have that connection there. This road will hook up to there. And of course, what we're going to need out here is a large aggregate store. Conveyor. Now, what I'm looking for here is connections over actual storage. So what we're looking for is something along this lines, like that. This will hold 2,500 tons of gravel, and we'll just build that there. We'll just keep bringing the road out this way. So just stop the road there. So what we've got now is we've got gravel production down into here. We're getting closer to where our I don't know if we call it a new town or just an extension of the old town. One thing I do need to be aware of is where is the so the new town's going to have to be out around here. And of course what that will do is also possibly provide workers to a coal processing plant over here. So we've now got this here, and we've got the gravel processing here. The first thing we're going to need to do is actually pick up the gravel. Where's the actually my instinct is don't like this. That's my instinct. It's a little bit too messy. Come back to here. I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to come out like this. Be bold, be brave. We're going to come out like that. Have more space out that side. Yeah, I think if we can come, put the road that way round, like that. Keep it short, save some money. And what we'll do is we'll gravel pick up there, like that. Just remove the road there. And what we're going to need next is a asphalt plant. Not happy with that. Problem is going to be is that gives me a connection coming out that way, and the input connections are from the top. I think that will be the better pathway. The trouble is that means that the road to here, get you under there. Get you there, get rid of that little bit of road there. We have a footpath connection on the side. I'll put the path connection there. The gravel processing. Can I get a footpath under here? Yes, I can. Good. I think to kind of preserve some space. Oh no, we need to consider fire. I get a road under here. Nope. I think we'll be okay. I think what I will do is we're just going to tighten this road up a bit so that it comes down closer to here like that. Something like that. Suspend some of this while we're actually doing it. I don't want the game actually coming out and building this. It will just overload and cause queues on my thingy. So I'm just gonna, don't want these, any of these detected. Actually, we'll build one, get going. So we'll allow you to build auto detect and build that one. Got a small garbage truck here. Right, so what we need now is we should now be able to get the asphalt plant out here. We've got an output from there, so this can be a dedicated one. We're going to put you about there. I'll push the road this way, trim up that corner there. And now comes the fun part, because what we're going to have to do is put some storage here that has a direct connection to the here. So we're going to bring you out to there, there. Right. I'm going to bring you across like that. We'll reserve this corner for our ancillary services. This needs to come in at an angle like that. And then this probably needs to come like that eventually. Now comes the fun part. How on earth am I going to get a... This is the splitter here. We've got a pipeline here. And effectively we've got to get all the way out there. Can I, how far can I get the pipeline? That's too long, so we're going to have to come out this way so we can come across the building here. So how far can I get you? Basically, we've got to get to about there. Flip you that way. If we can get you to about there, I'm going to create a great big long pipeline chain there. Underground. So we're looking at, we've got a bit of a road connection there. So if I can put in, again, we're just going to be dropping this into the middle of some trees. But I don't think there's anything we can do about this. We're going to lose some trees here with respect to the road. Just come there. And what we're going to have to do is, again, an underground pipeline. I want the actual that will come to there, that's connected there, that's connected to there, and then the next run will Okay. This is going to be tricky. I think what we're going to do is we're going to cancel you. Remove the road. I think we're going to have to come up through the farm here. If I build it out there, we're going to have to run power out there. So if I remove you. Actually, let me just accept and then cancel, demolish. What we're going to have to do is run the pipeline so my instinct is to we're going to have to probably put the pipeline in around there. Put you about there. This is going to be a very expensive project, but it will be worth it in the long term. It's just going to be a pain in the neck to build. So you will come to there. Now the next step is to go from here. Building is in the way. It's too long. So squish you on this corner here, like that. That gets them up to there. And what we've got to do now is get to there. And this will have its own power. So let me just actually just double check this connection. Yep, that's good. That's good. So what this will do is it will pump up the bitumen from here all the way up to here. So to begin with, we'll probably use trucks to deliver the fuel to here. But simply because it would be easier to do it than actually building the full pipeline. But eventually we will put the pipeline in just to make sure that we've got a stable connection there. The next thing we're going to need is a concrete plant. So it's going to have to function in a similar way to what we got here. So if we put the concrete plant in there, like that. Now this is where it's going to get a little bit more interesting, because what I want to do is we're going to have to bring coal up from here, because what we're going to need is a cement plant. That implies that we're going to have to invest in some dry bulk storage. Of course, this is so old, it's not. You've got to be kidding me. Okay, get rid of you. We're gonna have to go storage. cement. All right, I've built this. I was hoping not to build it. This is 270. This is a small silo. The only trouble is this doesn't have a... This is going to get very, very expensive. That's 3,000. That's 10,000 tons. This is 270. So we're going to have to use this as our... Now, this is actually... We're going to have to... This is where it's going to get a bit tricky, because we're going to have to put the cement silo. If we put the cement silo there... Actually, no. Did just notice the road. We're going to have to put you at a slight angle like that. Because do we have a prefab factory? Demolition. Right, we got a prefab factory, which of course all the connections are the wrong way round. Thank you, game. Okay, have we got anything better than that? Actually, let's see if we can get... Where's the cement factory? We've got a small cement plant. So this is where things can get tricky, because we're going to have to put a cement plant on like that. But the same, but okay, let me just actually, if we bring the cement plant around like that, I think I was hoping to do rail connections to ship the cement and stuff out, and then we're going to need a prefab factory. Prefab panels, that's in the wrong way round. This is 71. This is going to make 44. That's actually the right way round. That's good. The problem we're going to have is a space for a conveyor to get the gravel. Now, this cement plant is actually going to need an aggregate store for the, if I remember correctly, cement plants need coal and gravel. That's the small cement plant. Let's just see how much coal and gravel that we're going to need. Small there's going to be quite a bad pollution as well. It needs 11 tons of coal, 105 tons of gravel, which will produce 40 tons per workday. I mean, we're never going to produce 40 tons of cement on a good day. Okay. How many? This has got 2 connections. So what we got to do now is bring... We got to bring a road out here anyway, so we can make that connection, hopefully, put the gravel. Well, we can send a road out to there, bring this road round like that as a temporary, a little bit further south. You can hook to there, you can hook to there. We've got so we've now got, this is the prefab panel. So the next thing we're going to need out of here is, my instinct is to build this, because we might want to ship the prefabs out, but because the rail line is down there. So I think at the moment we're putting that there for the prefab export. We got the cement there, we got this here, and then what we're going to need to do is bring up the coal from there to here. I think I'm going to need to think a little bit about coal production. Maybe we could get some short-term coal production going to make the cement, but this is going to be a really costly project to build with all this out here. But I mean, it'd be worth it in the long run. The question is, would it ever be worth shipping the gravel from here? I don't think it will, to be honest. I think eventually what we might have to do is just create somewhere where it actually produces gravel. Actually, let's just have a consideration. Now we are going to have to bring a rail line up here with the steel, although where we're going to manufacture this is the actual. Let's just have a look at this. The steel. Iron. Actually, we could bring the iron mine down into here, couldn't we? What we got here? Got 43%, 29%, 38. I saw 38 here. Where is it? 37, 36. Right, let me just flip that round. No, it's the wrong way round. Flip it again. I'm sure I saw a 38 here, but we may have to 36, 37, there we are, 38. I think that's the best we're going to get. I think what we're going to have to do is create a mining village up here for iron mining and a coal mining here. And what we might do is, how flat's this area here? This area is pretty flat. What we might do is actually set up a conveyor system, because we've got to get down here. Either that, or we can get down, yeah, we can get a conveyor system down here into this area, where eventually we could build a steel industry. Yeah, I think that we can make it work, but it's going to be a challenge with respect to there. I think we've got enough going out of here. Got a small cement plant, which we can export the surplus from. We've got a concrete plant, got an asphalt plant, and we've got a very expensive project to carry on and build from now. So I think I'm going to leave that at the moment. I think what we're going to do is take exactly the same strategy as we've used in Eastleigh. We'll build out in stages, so that, because the first thing we need to do is get the gravel production, so that we don't get loads and loads of guys queuing up here looking for gravel and other stuff. And of course, well, you're exporting fabric, so how much money are we making? We're not making any money at all at the moment. We're probably importing steel again. That's, well, electronics. Yeah, electronics is going to be another issue which we're going to need to think about. So we've got this here, this here. I think what we can do is get the ground crew. I actually switched off the job allocation here, so I'm going to have to work this manually for the moment. Get you working on those bits there. So I'm going to manage the job. You guys actually finished this yet? No. Anyway, I'm starting to run out of time on this video, so oops, need to switch that off, definitely. allow citizens to move in. We will assign you to there and you to there as well. I think we'll get you working on these as well. I think we need to get the meat production up and running because that will make us some more money. What are you building here? What is that? Oh, this is the sewage lines that we need built. This needs to be high priority as well, because we got a health risk up here as well. We'll build that, because what that will do is it will give us a centralized pickup point and also a here. Okay, right, I think just to wind off, we're going to go back to Eastleigh and see how we're doing over here. We are slowly pulling this together with the maintenance crew. We are building this down now. Got the guys working on this, because of course before we can build this we need actual two-way access, which means we're going to have to build in from here actually. Either that, because this is all one, either that or build round, build this and build into this section, because this is going to be a one-way road, which means that this vehicles coming into here will get trapped. Yeah, we got the ground crew working on this one. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to build in various bits and pieces here to actually get that done. The alternative is we split that road. That might be a better solution actually. We'll do that. What that will mean is that this will now become in scope of our road crew here. These guys pick up, and then it means that we can build in two directions here. What was that? Got a log carrier. Okay, just do a quick spot check here. It's good. Are we doing? Game isn't doing anything crazy like building this. We got food there. I did remove this because I thought it felt a little bit like a bit pointless. So this is being built, which is good. A little bit of extra storage here would be quite useful. I don't know if you guys have got, yeah, you've got a spare slot, so that's good. Anyway, this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. What I will do is play on to the harvest starts, because in the next part I want to see how well this harvest runs and show you whether we're actually going to get enough crops coming in here to be really worthwhile for the expert of what we want to do. But until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.